What's up, streamers? Welcome back. Today again we got Nate, laid down the boards, myself. We're gonna have a little bit of a different conversation today. Typically, we're in the realm of politics and social movements and things of that nature, or just horrific news and stuff. Today we're gonna go a little light on everybody, have a different type of conversation based around, I guess it's kind of a mystic thought process. I wouldn't really call it a conspiracy theory. It just definitely out of the ordinary, out of the box. Welcome to the Twilight Zone. For this, the conversation is going to be about the Mandela Effect. I'm not sure if my listeners have heard of that before, but someone break it down. Turn it over to you, Nate.
All right, the Mandela Effect is this thing going around on the internet where people are seeing in our reality something different than what they remember in their memories. There's a lot of different examples of it on the internet, and it originally was put forth in 2010 by Fiona Broome when Nelson Mandela
is she a YouTuber?
I don't believe it. It was just like a post from her on maybe her own page.
Okay. So something that she noticed and said, "Hey guys, check this out."
Well, all she said is the statement of she remembered him dying while he was in prison.
Nelson Mandela,
and that's where we get the name the Mandela Effect. A lot of theories have been put forth on how this has happened, but when she initially was saying it, she was more only expressing that she remembered it differently.
Her own personal belief.
Yeah, and other people started responding and talking about how they remembered it the same way, which is kind of weird.
So, not to interrupt you, but we're talking about Nelson Mandela. I hope everybody knows who we're talking about. He was imprisoned for a while, president of Africa, I believe it was, of some South Africa, and he was in prison during the 80s and 90s, somewhere around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say I was very young, so I wasn't very news oriented. But when I first heard about this, and when he was released, he became president again, or that's when he became president. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that guy was dead, but I just shrugged it off like, I don't know shit.
Right.
Same
with me, because I was, young for that too. One that more would directly affect our age group.
So when you say they remember differently, like, what did Fiona, like, she remembered
his funeral. Watching his funeral. People remember watching the funeral and being upset and having family members and friends that were upset.
Now, was he in prison when he died?
In their memory, yeah.
In their memory.
Yep.
So he died in prison.
Right.
And is he still alive now?
No, he died in 2010.
Which is what brought it up, because it's like, whoa, I thought he died in prison.
Right.
That's why everybody had this big uproar and there was all this focus on that area, the apartheid and different political movements.
Another individual is Billy Graham, who had a TV show. A lot of people believe that he had died in 2009. They remember his funeral. He's still alive today.
Who the hell's Billy Graham?
He's an evangelical.
Exactly.
Like a Joel Osteen?
Yeah. And so there are plenty of people who know and followed this guy, right? Many of them believe that he died in 2009. He's still alive today.
See, I thought John Goodman died, but then I found out I was wrong.
Pacha is good.
Pacha is good.
Pacha is good.
So, I mean, people can think, like I said, I thought John Goodman was dead for some reason. I could have sworn.
Yeah, but
I read
the
that.
mass of people believe that. I don't remember John Goodman. The only John I can recall dying is Candy. I don't recall John Goodman at all.
I think there's been plenty of Johns that's died.
I'm sure there has.
John Denver.
There you go.
Anyways, so basically the theory or the thought process is remembering something a certain way and then coming to find out that potentially it was different, but you're saying that there's a great mass of people.
Right, which is why main theory behind this is that it has to do with multiple dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Timelines. Right?
Yeah, the timelines, like we are jumping. Actually, it is.
like, are we on
It's
the
like proof that we jump between different dimensions.
Okay, so you hold on, because
Like parallel
I got a feeling
dimensions.
to my listeners this is gonna sound weird. So when you say dimensions, right? I mean, there's, we all know 2D, 3D stuff. Is that what you're talking about, or you're talking about totally like different worlds?
Like
Like, are we on the Enterprise high speed warp drive somewhere else?
Something perhaps maybe more like that. If we're talking about shifting dimensions.
We're talking about
Like string theory.
interplanetary
Yeah,
dimensions, right?
so to
Well-
speak, not
Well,
necessarily.
in theory, like I think Einstein talked about time travel with string theory, and it wasn't so much the quickest point to the quickest point from somewhere was from A to B,
Right.
but if you actually bend it,
Right.
you could make it quicker, and then there was black holes and stuff like that. So is that kind of the thought process behind this ideology?
Yes. There's they give a big portion of the blame of this to CERN. That CERN has opened up the dimensions
concern?
to bleed into each other.
So CERN.
CERN.
So for my viewers who maybe not know what CERN means, it's an acronym, but basically what it is the Large Hadron Collider that it's 17 miles long, I believe, underground. It's part of France and Sweden or something.
Not exactly positive.
I know it's under two different countries, but anyhow, so it's 17 miles around. It's like a racetrack underneath the ground, where they shoot like atoms and electrons at high rates of speed, and they collide them together, and that's where you got the Higgs-boson particle, which is the Higgs-boson particle, with the God particle. So it's something smaller than the atom or whatever.
And what some are theorizing is that
They're little miniature like Big Bangs.
exactly, and that has caused a rip in the dimensional boundary, which has allowed us to bleed into parallel or alternate realities.
So basically, when this thing collides together, Big Bang, you're saying that there's a small tear in our dimension for a
Right.
second, that
Right.
things come and go.
Right. Something like that. I'd say, like, how people say that there are infinite possibilities because of our free will, and that everything happens in many different parallel universes of the different outcomes from the different choices that you've made. It just depends which one you're consciously focused on that you're going to be traveling through.
But in order to have that, you would have to have that as your basis of thinking that. And I've heard these thought process before, where like every decision you make ripples out, and it not only the butterfly effect, but it sparks like a new dimension for each thing. So
Right.
it's like you said,
Infinite
limitless.
possibility.
So, like, if I decide to drink a beer or not drink a beer, that decision splits up in half, and then there's two different
Right.
worlds. One where I drink the beer, one I don't drink the beer.
Right.
And that goes for everybody. So it's like pop, 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 pop all over the place. So you're saying it tears, and then that comes in and goes out, and they're bleeding into each other.
Right. And
So, well, what if you just don't believe there's other dimensions? This is the only dimension.
okay, well, I have an idea that maybe this has something more
Okay, well,
to do with
before we get-
consciousness and our connectivity to each other.
Okay, well, before we get into
More of a psychological.
to more, let's start talking about some of this stuff, because right now all we know is that some people thought Mandela died and some people
Right.
didn't. Before we go into the I don't want to say the thought process, the crazy part of it, let's hear some of the I guess the actual evidence.
Okay.
That this potentially could be happening.
The
that
one-
people would believe.
The one that really brought this subject to light is one that in our age group we can actually identify with.
Okay.
We grew up with the kids' book, the Berenstein Bears. The Berenstein Bears. Okay. And that would have an IE for us to say it that way. But if you go now and look at the book,
So I remember it as the Bernstein.
well,
Bernstein.
even Stein and Steen, you're using those same letters to get the different sound. Either way that you remember it, that is
I didn't really read
those
them a lot,
same
though.
letters. But now when you go back and look at that book, they are clearly the Berenstain Bears with an AI. That one is what really brought it to the
Did you read a lot of
public
those
forefront.
books?
I did. Yeah.
So I really didn't care about the Bears.
Yeah.
I didn't like to read as a kid, so.
Another one that is really popular is from Star Wars, because there's a lot of Star Wars fans, and
Oh, yeah.
they take pride in knowing.
I got all the
Star
Star Wars
Wars.
movies. I've watched them for years.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi was my favorite. I love the Ewoks.
And even I saw a clip of James Earl Jones, who's the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And it's like a couch clip on a TV show, and he's asked to relive the moment that he said those famous words. And in this clip, he says, "Luke, I am your father."
Okay.
In
Yeah.
that clip. That's how he remembers it even. If you go back and watch the movie today, it's actually, "No, I am your father." So that's something that...
I remember it as Luke, I am your
Right,
father.
and-
I used to say it into the fan all the time. It sounded weird.
Right, yeah.
I think everyone did.
Everyone
That age
does.
group did
Everyone
that.
does.
They wanted
On The
Darth
Simpsons,
Vader
they even
voice.
say that. They say, "Luke, I am your father."
Yeah.
Okay. So,
And-
hold on. So, what are they saying?
That, well,
no,
it's
I am
"No,
your father."
I am your father." That is what it is. You can go watch the movie clip on YouTube.
I got
You
the
can
movie.
go inside and watch the movie, what you feel is the original copy
No,
that you
okay.
bought
Is it
and saw it.
digitally remastered? Because my parents
It won't matter.
had the
It
VHS.
won't matter. Whichever one you go to, it's changed.
Even the VHS.
Even the VHS.
Original copies.
Yep.
I mean, those
The
things are pretty
laser
ragged.
disc. The
Yep.
laser disc was out there. Anybody got like a laser disc they want to bust out? Check that
Well,
out.
another one is, what color is C-3PO?
He's gold.
He's gold, through and through. Top to bottom.
Well, there was a small portion where the little guy was eating them, where he got beat up, or
And he
well,
got
no, he
switched
was
out.
he was getting eaten, but that was a different part. He was eating his eye out on this ship.
Well,
No, hold on. Let me. I'm showing you my nerd.
okay.
No, he got tore apart in something, and I think they were. What was it? R2D2 was
Lando's.
dragging him, and then when they got to the thing, they put them back together.
At the
And Anakin was putting them together.
well,
And when Anakin was putting them together, it was all types of different. But that was the newer.
right in the first one, in the scene where R2D2 and C-3PO are standing in the desert deciding which way to go. He's fully gold at that time in your memory, right? In mine, he is. But if you go
Yeah.
watch the movie, he actually has a silver leg. And when he's torn apart, his arm is what they replace, right? Because they ripped his arms off. Oh, they tore him all the way apart, but I recall his arm being silver at that time. But from the beginning,
I would say
has
he
a
was
silver leg.
No, I mean he well. Okay, so when you say the beginning of the '70s movies,
Right, at the beginning
not the beginning of
at the
because the
beginning
Phantom Menace is
of A
technically
New
the
Hope.
beginning, blah blah blah.
At the beginning of A New Hope, R2D2 and C-3PO are standing in the desert, and they're deciding which way to go. And C-3PO tells R2D2 he's going one way.
I actually seen something about this, and I wasn't really paying attention to it, so I might actually know some of the crap you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something, I don't know, I was falling asleep watching it. I watch a lot of shit at night. But there was an actual theoretical movie poster that somebody was saying, that it shouldn't have been like that. And then there was two different ones or something. So I'm guessing that's
Well,
probably
I
I stumbled across.
would say that the Star Wars community would not be getting these things wrong, and that something is up. Like, even if it's not dimension shifting, something is up with that.
So it'd be like, because you know you have the Trekkies, and they're like, for week.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that'd be like changing the shirt from red.
Right.
You would know. Like,
You would know the
Okay, well,
difference, exactly.
There's a Star Wars. I mean, there's Star Wars fanatics. Like, I remember growing up, and everybody in my house loved Star Wars, and our family friends loved Star Wars. And I remember somebody had a Star Wars game. It was like a trivia game, and like some of these questions were like, how many bases were on this moon in this episode clip? And I was like, I don't freaking know. It was like a drive-by, but I actually had somebody who was like, yeah, there was 5 bases. I'm like, how the hell did you know there was 5? Like, it's a 3-second long clip that shows you that part of it. Yeah, there's 5 bases or whatever. So, no, these people would actually know one way or another. I would think.
They would. They definitely would.
So basically, the argument on a lot of this stuff is, without doubt, a great majority of people remember these things. Like, I mean, Luke, I am your father is not something that just a couple people would screw up.
It's iconic.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And you don't mess that up.
No.
Especially if you're the guy doing the voiceover.
Exactly. And I don't see the point in going, shifting through dimensions to change movies. Like, well, who's benefiting from this, right? But that's one of the places that a lot of these examples can be found is in movies. But also, I feel like that's because we all watch these movies. These movies are big movies. Like, we're gonna need a bigger boat. Right?
Jaws.
We're gonna need a bigger boat. If you go back and look at it now, he actually tells the guy, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." But how does that even make sense to say you're gonna need a bigger boat? But that's what it says.
Okay, Jaws was made in the early 70s as well.
And
me being born in 80, like, I've watched Jaws probably a total of like 10 times.
But I mean, how many times have you heard that recreated as comedy or something in another show or in a skit or something along those lines?
It'd be like Fonzie.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be like Fonzie jumping the dolphin now.
Right. And another one is, Forrest Gump says life is like a box of chocolates. Everybody says that. You see that also in The Simpsons and all over the place.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch it, he says life was like a box of chocolates. And these are all really small changes that are almost unnoticeable, which on Conspiracy Island you can wonder if it is done just kind of like an experiment to see if people will notice the changes.
It's like a glitch in the program?
Right. Which, there's another theory there where not extra dimensional or parallel universe or alternate reality, but that we live in a simulation where...
Well, I talked about that on Free Talk Friday.
Right.
I have looked into that, and...
Like, and everybody knows.
See that.
Everybody knows mirror, mirror on the wall. Everyone knows that. It's actually magic mirror on the wall. And if you go back to the original book, the original Snow White book, in that book it says still mirror, mirror on the wall. But
so they didn't change it in the book.
If you watch the film, it says magic mirror on the wall. Right. That seems odd too, right? That it's magic mirror in one and mirror, mirror in the other. Like, why not change both?
Obviously, it doesn't. It coincides. So
the book is written off of the cartoon.
Well, hold on.
It has the pictures. It has the pictures from it. I'm not saying that this is the original story written, but this is the original that was written and released for the movie.
Well, I mean. So just going off of the mirror, mirror on the wall, Slick Rick and Snoop Dogg did songs, right? And Snoop Dogg redid Slick Rick's song, and in those songs it says that mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's like Snoop Dogg's like Mary Mary
Yeah.
on the wall? Who's the top dog of
Yeah,
them all?
and this is also why this is iconic. That has been repeated to us through.
So obviously they're referencing
Right.
that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then
Hit me with another one.
another big
I'm feeling
one.
it.
Another big one for our age group is Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Be mine.
Exactly, guys. We know this song. We remember this song. It's actually it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, not the neighborhood. If you go back and watch it now, so that doesn't coincide with our memories either, does
I
it?
wouldn't even follow the rhyme pattern.
Right.
That would
Yeah,
mess
it doesn't.
up.
It just doesn't. It doesn't vibe right, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what it says. Go back and watch it. Mr. Rogers is gonna say to you, "It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood," guaranteed. But we know he said the. It's all right. That's a one that they
It's
took
white
from us
privilege.
from childhood.
It's white privilege.
Okay, all right. How about then privilege? The Monopoly game. Does the Monopoly guy have a monocle?
What, the old guy?
The old guy,
the runner,
Mr.
The banker
Uncle
and all that?
Pennybags.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Yeah, he had a little monocle.
No, he doesn't. Go back and pull out your game. Check it out. He does not have.
Is
a
it just on the new games?
No. Go find the old game.
I ain't got the old game.
Actually,
Yeah,
you can
Yes, we
Google.
do.
You
Do
can
we?
Google images for him as far back as he's existed, and he does not have a monocle.
Bullshit.
Yeah, that's from childhood. The Rubik's Cube. How do you spell Rubik's?
Rubix.
It is with a K now. It is Rubiks. I also remember it with an X.
It was like a big X in the middle. Right? It's like,
Or I-
Do you remember
you don't remember that?
peanut butter?
No, like I thought it was named after the man. It's apostrophe S.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was his last
Well,
name.
that is what it says now,
It's
for
apostrophe
sure.
S, and it was because it's
And that's another thing with this Mandela effect is not everyone seems to retain the memories that the others are, and they are
that's why
seeing
it's causing it. 'Cause it's
right.
like, no,
That's
wait a
why
minute.
it's like, what's going on here? You know, like Jiffy peanut butter. Do you ever eat Jiffy peanut butter?
No, I eat Jiffy cornbread mix.
Jiffy, right?
No,
There's
Jif.
only
and
Jif.
Skippy.
There's only Jif.
No, see,
And see, that's a good one
Jiffy
too.
Moms choose
You-
Jif.
Jiffy moms choose Jif. Well, we can say also,
Skip.
Choosy moms
Choosy.
choose Jif.
yeah, that's what the commercial is.
That's what the commercial
Now.
is. Yeah.
That's what it is now.
See, I don't remember a Jiffy.
Well,
I remember Jiffy corn, but it's still.
and that's also a good argument too, because like when we're taking out the parallel universes and the computer simulation and everything, if you make the correlation, maybe somehow there's a connection in our brains with the word Jiffy on that cornbread box and the word Jif being Jiffy on the peanut
You're
butter.
smushing it, right?
Right,
if
like
there
it's
was enough
like it's a
more-
and
cross
and
neural
Skippy
pattern.
and
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
like,
Skippy too, right?
Like the idea.
now if it turned into Skip peanut butter, I'd be like,
There's
no,
something
motherfucker.
going on.
Right.
Yeah,
if
but
it was Tinkerbell instead
do
of Peter
you
Pan,
guys
like,
remember? Do
Yeah.
you guys remember the Oscar Mayer jingle?
What, Baloney has a first name?
There you go.
O-S-C-A-R. Baloney has a second name. It's M-E-Y-A-R.
It's Meyer. Yes, but the A does exist now. Not where you put it, but as Mayer.
Like he's a.
But I sang that song all the time. It's how I learned how to spell baloney, and it was it was definitely Meyer. And for
Well,
me,
isn't that the
for
song
me, I
we
have
used
a
to-
cousin.
y'all
My
guys would sing with
cousins have the
Lauren?
last name Meyer, so
Yeah, same thing with we have
Yeah.
a mutual friend.
yeah. So like, and I associated that with their name when I was a kid. When I, watching that as well,
Yeah, you tell them when you have a kid, name him Oscar,
right?
right?
So
the joke.
also Chick-fil-A, I recall it, and other people I've spoken to recall it being spelled.
So you obviously you let's do a little game out of this.
All right.
Instead of you telling us what was before or after, let's see what we remember, so we can't befuddle ourselves like in the middle of it to either deny or accept.
Okay.
So, what were you about to talk about?
Chick-fil-A. How do you remember the sign? How do you remember the name being spelled?
I can't spell it, but it's Chick-fil-A. There's an A.
Chick-fil-A. You
Yeah.
remember?
Well, CHICA
Yeah.
fillet, like FILLA, and there's a chicken beak somewhere.
All right. It is. It in my memory. I have the fillet as well, but I
With
have a
CHIC.
I see. Yes, exactly.
C-H-I-K.
Go look at. Well, that's what it is now.
CHIK.
Because if the cow spell it
And
wrong, it's
and the
Chick-fil-A.
the A doesn't exist in some.
Chick-fil-A
It is
anymore.
it is Chick-fil-A.
Okay, so
No,
but
no,
did they
no,
just
no.
change
Right?
that?
Right? Well, also we could chop it up to that too. Like, did the marketing team decide to change it? And if they did, how come they haven't released anything to be like, hey guys, you're kind of crazy out there. What we did is we changed all our signs, okay? You
Yeah,
know?
we remodeled.
Right,
like
right.
McDonald's
So how is
has
it
gone
spelled
through
now?
a few-
CHIKFILA.
So there's no C in it now.
There's no little hyphen
and
A
no
hyphen.
Yeah, it's,
There's
yeah,
no C.
Yeah.
Yeah. No
And
C.
chick.
No, C-H-I.
Well, yeah, but
J.
no, I'm saying at the end. I remember the CHICA, and it was like little dots or whatever.
It was Chick-fil-A. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It is Chick-fil-A with a K.
And then
This
sandwiches
is
were
the
damn
Southern
good.
Place, people, you can't be changing things. We know how to spell, mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Next one.
ask me another one.
Well, those are all like things that we can remember and that are relevant in time, like recent, sort
Okay,
of.
Well, what if it's like going off of the Chick-fil-A idea? Like originally, our word for blue was the French word, which is EU, but people
Bleu.
misspelled it as
Right.
blue. But people misspelled it so badly for so long, it just stayed the way it is.
Yeah.
BLUE.
Now
the
ain't
English
is a word.
spelling Today. So, I mean, could it just be at a time where you're...
Like it progressed.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Right.
my argument for that is if
Is there
it
any sign of
where's-
evolution?
When did it change? There has to be some sort of evidence of a time where they paid a lot of money for all of their signs and all of their cups and everything to change.
Well, I mean, have you researched whether or not
I
like
have
there's old signs?
I mean, I've seen the logos compared to each other. Which, if the logos exist compared to each other, you would think obviously that had to have been what happened,
I
right?
thought we had an old cow in here, so...
Nah.
You have one of those?
Save a cow, eat more chicken.
Yeah.
Let's just eat more chicken.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Yeah, well, all those were things that are modern. One that's like stumping scholars is the Mona Lisa.
It's an ugly chick.
Right. But the Mona Lisa, the caption for it is Mona Lisa's smile. All right? I don't personally recall her ever smiling. I remember an emotionless looking, kind of manly looking woman staring off.
There was like somewhat of a smirk.
Okay. Right.
There was like a.
Well, that was
But not much.
that was a key discussion for scholars when, with the title being Mona Lisa's smile, a key point for them was discussing, is that considered a smile? You know, now it appears to be a bit of a smirk, but also psychologists argue that over time we are seeing more of a smirk because of the caption Mona Lisa's smile. Like,
It's not much. It's
psychologically,
like. But there's a-
it's like
for
a smirk.
smile,
So now we're
create it.
seeing that smile.
It's
Right.
not so much of a sulk or anything like that, but the lip indentions that's slightly up. Like there's a small smirk, but it's being suppressed.
And something that's even more conspiracy about that is the background. It's remembered that the background was like a grassy background, like a
Oh, I don't know that shit.
a pretty background that was like soothing and nature filled, right? It's still a nature background, but it looks more mountainous and like edgy and not so much of like a calm place. It looks more.
I thought it was
I-
just blurry background because she
Right.
was the focus.
Yeah, I
don't
thought it was
remember
somewhat
that.
Well,
blurry.
it's a detailed, and you know, this one's a tough one because like how often have we sat to like really analyze the Mona Lisa? You know what I mean?
Well, I watched some
But
stuff on
this
it
is
about
the
how
one-
it was, you could fold it over.
This is the one that got me the most because scholars are having a hard time wrapping their head around this.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the Mona Lisa. Slick Rick did a song about that too. That's my input. Wasn't it supposed to be a dude though in a wig?
No, I don't even know.
Him.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Right?
I've heard that.
And then there's some ancient aliens theory in it.
Yeah, when I was looking at the picture actually earlier today, for some reason I remember watching Ancient Aliens and them pointing out a UFO in the background. I was unable to locate a UFO in the background.
From what I remember from the Ancient Aliens episode about that is, being able to fold it over and the preciseness of it, and it was like
the symmetry of it?
The symmetry of it, and there was like almost a face, like where her head was, there was almost a face like right here or something, but that's totally beyond the subject. So Mona Lisa, what else?
Oh, that's really all I have on the Mona Lisa.
Okay, next thing.
Well, I don't really have any more examples, but
I mean, I've heard some things like about continents that supposedly used to exist in between Australia and like Asia, I guess.
And the way that the maps were set up, right, in the globes, in the classrooms.
Yeah. And there's actually, if you look on Dazed and Confused, the movie, the guy's spinning the globe, and if you slow down at a certain spot, it shows that actual land base.
Wow. See, that's weird, right?
If it's actually there, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the movie, but I've never tried to slowly detail.
What, it's on VHS?
Yeah.
Okay, good luck trying to slowly detail that one.
Yeah. But, so, I mean, I guess the thought process is what you're throwing at me here. And, like I said, I've seen a little bit of it, don't know a whole bunch about it. Basically, there's a ripple or a rip in the fabric of our dimension.
Yeah. Which is having effects on small details of our dimension. And a lot of times they say that the trigger for it was CERN in their search for the Higgs boson particle. And then since they've discovered that, they've really amped up their testing, and that's led to more happening.
Timelines.
Yeah.
So just the idea of CERN itself is really weird. Like, that place is a bit fascinating. I've looked that place up because I was interested into the God particle.
Mm-hmm.
But they got the dancing Shiva outside, which is like the goddess of destruction.
Yeah.
In life.
Yeah.
In life. But that's chaos and order. However you want to put it. It's pretty much the beginning and the end. So, I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen some of the videos. Like, they put out videos where they're dancing around.
Yeah.
And stuff.
It's
all kind of like
CERN
weird
videos.
and creepy. I think that's probably something we shouldn't be messing with.
Doesn't that seem a little bit dangerous? You're creating a mini version of what caused the universe?
Well, okay, so I'm out. That's if you believe in the Big Bang.
Yeah.
So you can't say that that's what created the universe. I mean, a lot of people think God snaps his fingers or whatever.
If we're in a multiverse, it would make sense that there were multiple Big Bangs that had different variations of what the laws of nature would be. Multiple Big Bangs.
I don't know. So
our Big Bang being only one, they've tried to create it multiple times within our universe that already had one. That is what would be causing. Yeah, and that's what would be causing the tear. Is because you're not supposed to do that. Like, that shouldn't be what's going on. But in the name of science, we'll basically do anything. We'll put a chimpanzee's head on a dog's body to see if it'll live.
Why not? I mean, that'd be a cute little bastard.
Right?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, there's a photo that they did that.
Oh.
Yes,
It lived
sir.
for what, 3 days?
Yeah. Well, I'm not positive on the days. I know it lived for a little while
Maybe
before
it
it
was
died.
3 weeks.
And that's really weird that it lived before it died.
But did it live? Right. That always
Right.
comes
No,
to
it
that-
had
I mean, that-
signs of life. It had its life signs. It licked. It blinked. It did
but
things.
Did it live?
It didn't like get up and walk around. I don't believe.
Right. It didn't exist. It didn't.
Right. It just had the
That's where
functions of a
science
body.
gets sticky on-
Well, doesn't a chicken run around for a little while without a head?
Well, that's because of muscle response and
Yeah.
muscle reflex and memory reflex.
It's a little
I don't see
different.
too many humans running around without a head.
No, but when
They
we
will.
die, we do start like we flinch and relieve ourselves, and we still do bodily functions even though we're not there.
Yeah. Like
Things
if you,
happen.
If you know, like the
You
gory,
fart.
ridiculous movies where somebody's head will get cut off and their body's like, oh, and it kind of walks around a little goofy.
Yeah.
That's actually a little bit probably more accurate because you have muscle twitch reaction that's reacting to the pain. It's trying to send
Yeah.
it until the blood falls out. That's when the body kind of shimmies and drops,
Yeah.
right? That's why.
Okay.
Right? It's reacting. Right?
It's reacting to the last message sent throughout the body and then trying to send the response before it actually is like, oh, there's nowhere to go with this response. We're done.
Spurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I get into a lot of wild shit. And definitely, like, some of the things about the movies and stuff. It's like, no, I definitely believe that I remember it the correct way and that's what it was. So, yeah,
many
there's
people do.
something. But why? Like, how?
Like, what would be the reason behind it? What's the purpose behind it? But maybe there doesn't need to be a purpose. Maybe it's an accident that CERN created, and they're not able to fix it, or they don't, know how to fix it.
Well, I think if there really is something that's dimensions and they're bleeding together, good luck putting a Band-Aid on that, buddy.
Yeah, for real.
Or they have to fire their IT guy, right? If it's like a glitch in the system,
Right.
then it's like you gotta fire
Yeah.
your IT. You guys need to
Which-
upgrade or something.
Which, for some people who don't want to believe that there are parallel universes, or because of the lack of evidence won't take that route, I think looking into like more of a Matrix type situation might
Dude, if
help
they don't
them
want
a little bit
to,
more.
if they don't want to go think that there's potential other dimensions and like
Why
black
would
holes
they
and
think
stuff,
of Matrix, right?
Yeah, I don't think
I
that
just
they're
think
going to
that one's-
easily fall into where a Sims
Yeah.
category.
Yeah, but I think that would be easier for them to find their research on to maybe pull from.
So, I mean, what kind of effect could this have? Are things like changing every day? Is there more things?
I'm sure there's more things. It'll take time for people to discover them.
Like, will this be called Salmon Scream Radio in like 2 years?
Salmon scream. You never know. You never know. With the ripples in like the space-time dimension, who knows? I think that people will continue to find things that can be classified as within the Mandela
I mean, some of that
effect.
stuff I think is a stretch. Some of it sounds legit, but
It's mass memory. It's the people's mass memory, which also leads me to theorize on, maybe it's something that more has to do with how we're all consciously connected, and what is it, the 99th monkey type thing? You've heard of that, where
Like
the first, well, no, like
I know it's 12 monkeys.
the first monkey on the island started using tools for breaking open the shellfish, and then other monkeys joined in, and then by the time the 99th monkey of that colony had done it, the colonies surrounding that island, they had all learned how to do it without meeting each other. So they were saying that they were all connected with through a conscious grid.
okay, yeah, I've heard. I know what you're talking about now.
So maybe something like that is taking place with us, because You know, maybe it's easier for someone to believe in that conscious grid than a parallel universe.
Well, it would be the same. Would that be the same idea of, let's say something goes viral today, like a video,
Yeah.
right? Something
Yeah.
goes viral, and then before you know it, it's there. It's
Right.
part of society. It's
Yeah.
now in the books. Words are changing, or this now means this, and where things have changed, like something.
I think
Like
in
the word
today's
slut used to
term,
mean that a
viral
woman who
is
kept
a
a dirty
very good
home,
way to describe it.
right? But now it means something else, and everybody understands all their meanings.
Right.
So something like
So
that.
did the chick say "catch me outside" or "cash me outside"?
And we'll know in 5 years.
Okay.
I don't know where to.
Ask the viewers. What do you guys
Yeah,
think?
what do you guys
Which
think?
timeline are you guys living in? I want to know.
You know, is it "No, I am your father" or "Luke, I am your father"? To me, I'm hung on that. Like, not on that specific one, but on the whole theory itself. I'm a little hung. I think there's a lot of things. I'm a little hung.
I got that on video.
Anyways, no, I think some of the stuff, like, you know, you talk about the Jiffy, and, you know, do I really remember Rubik's Cube that way? But then there's other ones I'm like, no, I do remember, like, especially the movie stuff. I remember
Yeah.
that. The spelling of things, shit, I suck at spelling anyways. You know? But there's certain things, like we said, was iconic things.
Yeah,
You
that
know.
we as a society, as a people, know. We know that that's how it is. But it's not.
It'd be like...
Or it was, and it isn't now.
It'd be like if I heard that Rodney King came out and said we can't get along.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he definitely said,
Yeah.
can't we all
Yeah.
just get along?
Yeah.
Did he say that, or did he say, why can't we just all get along?
I think
Stop it.
I think the Billy Graham thing is crazy because he is clearly alive right now, but people remember being upset and viewing his funeral because of watching him for so many years of their life.
Well,
how
maybe
is it-
he's the next Jesus.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
how is
Tupac's
it?
alive.
This
He might be.
actually puts forth that it's possible to no longer exist in one dimension, but be alive and healthy in another. Which would mean that your consciousness maybe would be shifting from when you die to the next one where you're alive. So you actually don't die, you actually shift into a different dimension. And just in this dimension,
So let me ask you a question. I
Yeah,
used
but
to,
your consciousness in that dimension, you have to kick them out.
hold on. I used to like moon.
well, you're not, that dimension isn't part of the conscious grid that we're part of. If we believe
But
that
isn't
there is
that a conscious grid
multiverse,
on its own?
see, I mean, these are good
No.
questions, you know?
All right.
I used to love moon pies.
Yeah,
I can't stand them now.
I love moon pies.
Ugh.
Yeah, but I remember them being so delicious, and when I try one now, I want to throw up. So, was that a different
It got
dimension
you.
when
Yeah.
I loved
No.
the moon pie?
No, that is a change of your taste buds, which takes place
How do you know
every
that?
7 to 14. Every 7 years, your taste buds change.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
All right.
I still hate macaroni and cheese.
I'll always love pizza.
Word.
Anyways, viewers, let me know what you think about this. It's kind of a wild topic, like I said. It was definitely a little different. I don't know what to think of it. Leave comments, like, dislike, and subscribe.